delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and a warm welcome to the commemoration of World Tsunami Awareness Day 2020, which is being held today in conjunction with the 21st Advisory Council meeting of the ASCAP Trust Fund for Tsunami Disaster and Climate Preparedness. It is my honor to invite Ms. Amida Salsi Al-Jabana, Undersecretary General of the United Nations and Executive Secretary of ASCAP, to give her opening remarks.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the 21st regular meeting of the Trust Fund's Advisory Council. Today we meet to observe the 2020 World Tsunami Awareness Day. In 2015, the United Nations General Assembly designated 5 November as the World Tsunami Awareness Day as a way for member states, international and regional organizations, and civil society to continuously raise public awareness of the risks caused by tsunamis and share innovative and effective approaches to response to disaster risk reduction. This initiative has received significant support from the government of Japan. As a country heavily affected by tsunamis in Asia and Pacific, Japan has led in the sharing of experiences and good practices from the Pacific and supporting their replication in Indian Ocean countries. Therefore, Japan has played a key role in the achievement of Target E of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction 2015-2030, which is also the theme of this year's World Tsunami Awareness Day, namely to substantially increase the number of countries with national and local disaster risk reduction strategies by 2020. Much has been achieved since the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami that killed more than 250,000 in over 10 countries, exposing the lack of Indian Ocean early warning systems and disaster preparedness. As a follow-up, the establishment of the ASCAP Multi-Donor Trust Fund with Thailand's founding contribution of $10 million just 1 year after the disaster represented a significant milestone towards a collective regional effort to address these unmet needs in the Asia-Pacific region. Today, this trust fund continues to provide financial and technical support to the early warning systems in our region. As the only dedicated regional trust fund that delivers coordinated support in the development of multi-hazard early warning systems, it has achieved significant results by promoting innovative pilot initiatives, scaling up early warning systems, and facilitating cooperation among countries. Allow me to highlight 3 examples. At the national level, the Trust Fund helped establish the first one is seismic and sea level stations in Vietnam, the Philippines, and Myanmar. The second one is link remote island to the national early warning system in the Maldives. And the third example is raise awareness of the Makran tsunami risk in Pakistan and the Islamic Republic of Iran. At the regional level, the Trust Fund contributed actively to the establishment of the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation System, which became operational in 2011 and helped develop and test tsunami standard operating procedures. It also helped establish the Regional Integrated Multi-Hazard Early Warning System for Africa and Asia, or also known as RIMES, which has grown into a successful provider of cost-effective warning products and services, fully owned by its member states. I look forward to visiting AIT and RIMES tomorrow. So the Trust Fund has contributed to all aspects of people-centered early warning system and to protect our communities that fit regional, sub-regional, and country contexts. And in this context, COVID-19 is an important reminder that risks are not local but can cascade to other parts of the system, social, economic, and environmental. Therefore, managing risks and raising resilience across all the 17 SDGs holds the key for a sustainable recovery. As we embark upon the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development 2021-2030, There is an important opportunity to sustainably manage the oceans and reduce disaster risks. Notably, I would like to take this opportunity to express our sincerest thanks to the government of Switzerland for joining the Trust Fund and to the government of Thailand for the new contribution. Your active partnership and participation will further help to build resilience and share good practices. ESCAP, together with UN system, such as UNDRR and IOC UNESCO, is committed to engage with member states to meet their growing aspirations and to build back better in the post-COVID-19 era in the Asia-Pacific region. I would like to thank you all for your continued interest and commitment. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank Ms. Ali Shabana for her opening remarks. Distinguished delegate.
This year's World Tsunami Awareness Day coincides with a global crisis claiming many lives and derailing national and local economies. COVID-19 has taught us that being prepared and ready can save lives and jobs. What is true for this biological hazard is true for many other hazards, man-made, natural, and technological, that are threatening our planet. Disasters don't wait their turn. Many countries are even now experiencing COVID-19, plus other hazards like typhoons, cyclones, and earthquakes. We cannot rest. Countries in Asia, the Caribbean, and South America have learned the hard lesson that tsunamis are the single most deadly of all sudden onset disasters. These regions have built on the experience of devastating past events. Today, they have created a culture of tsunami awareness among the general public, educating coastal communities at risk and ensuring that people recognize the warning signs so that they take prompt action to evacuate to a safe place. It is particularly encouraging to see the progress being made in the Caribbean, where more than 26 communities across 18 countries are now recognized as Tsunami Ready. The Tsunami Ready program, which was initiated by the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO, is also being replicated in Odisha, India, in Samoa, in the South Pacific, and will be taken up in many other parts of the world. The Sendai Framework Disaster Risk Reduction, the global plan to reduce disaster losses by 2030, calls for a substantial increase in the number of national and local disaster risk reduction strategies in place by the end of this year, and urges all countries to have multi-hazard early warning systems in place by 2030. Today, 93 countries report having national disaster risk reduction plans in place, and 69 have access to multi-hazard early warning systems. This is a good start, but many countries are still unprepared and are not yet ready to anticipate a tsunami. My message today is that disaster risk governance matters. Clear vision, guidance, coordination, and competence are essential to the success of raising tsunami awareness around the world. Lives will be saved, injuries reduced, and economies spared if we get the planning right. Prevention saves lives.
And representatives of the member states, USGN Executive Secretary of ESCAP, Ibu Armida Salcia Alisjabana, colleagues from the UN and the international organizations. Thank you, Ibu, for your remarks and for hosting this ceremony today. I'll try to follow up the video message from SRSG Mami Mizutori with 3 key messages. The first is in context of the social aspects of tsunami early warning system. Since the 2004 tsunami, we have made great advancements in tsunami early warning systems. However, more investments are needed to enhance our understanding of the diverse causes of tsunamis, beyond earthquakes, and ensuring that early warnings reach the communities at risk. These investments in the social and communication aspects of early warning are the need of the hour if you want to bridge the last mile. The second point is in context of the importance of cooperation. While international cooperation in the aftermath of a disaster is not uncommon, we must not wait for a disaster to take action. And since tsunamis know no boundaries, this includes joint planning at the regional and sub-regional levels. For instance, the ongoing development of the next 5-year ADMER work program, which we and a number of UN agencies are supporting, offers a clear opportunity to ensure that tsunamis and other transboundary hazards are integrated within a regional approach to disaster risk reduction. Within the UN system, the recent formation of a regional collaborative platform and the issue-based coalitions has strengthened joint UN action, which is reflected not only in the organization of this event, but also in our support at the national level. And finally, COVID-19. By rough estimates, while 10 million people in Asia Pacific became infected with COVID-19 this year, over 45 million people were affected by other disasters cumulatively in the same region during the same period. These disasters, including most recently in the Philippines and Vietnam, have forced us to rethink the way we prepare for disasters. This also applies to tsunamis. Disasters can occur simultaneously or cascade, resulting in dual and compounded impacts. Further, increased vulnerability due to COVID-19 can exacerbate the impact of tsunamis in the near future. This requires us to adopt a more inclusive risk governance approach to break the silos between departments and sectors. Lastly, no region has more to offer in the tsunami sphere lessons learned from Asia Pacific. As the next global platform for disaster risk reduction will be hosted by the government of Indonesia in May 2022, I hope all of us will take advantage of this opportunity to share our practices with the rest of the world. We remain committed to supporting the member states in partnership with the SCAP, UNESCO IOC, and UNDP, among others. Thank you for your attention.
I thank Ms. Mizutori Kumar for the remarks. At IOC UNESCO to deliver her remarks.
Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. On 26th December 2004, the Indian Ocean region experienced the most destructive tsunami in modern history. Over 250,000 people lost their lives, many which could have been saved if a tsunami warning system had been in place. The sheer scale of the humanitarian and economic impacts unified countries around the globe to make advancements in tsunami hazard monitoring and response. In 2005, the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO was given the mandate to develop and implement 3 new tsunami warning and mitigation systems to complement its existing system in the Pacific. Consequently, new systems were established in the Indian Ocean, the Caribbean, and the northeastern Atlantic and Mediterranean regions. The Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission works to coordinate national and regional tsunami early warning services, raising global awareness about effective actions, policies, and practices to reduce exposure to disaster risk. The IOC also assists its member states through education programs and regular tsunami communication and evacuation exercises. Since the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation System, tsunami service providers of Australia, India, and Indonesia became operational in 2011, several significant earthquakes and tsunami events have occurred in the Indian Ocean region, including the 2012 Northern Sumatra tsunami, the 2013 Inland Pakistan tsunami, and the more recent 2018 Palau and Sunda Strait tsunamis. These events serve as a strong reminder to all of us that we need to closely monitor subduction zone earthquakes and improve technical aspects of the tsunami warning and mitigation system. However, I emphasize that equal attention also needs to be given to preparedness, especially at the community level. There is a need to support countries in assessing their tsunami risk, developing end-to-end tsunami warning chains, evacuation plans, capacity in tsunami emergency response, and in raising community awareness, preparedness, and resilience. As tsunami do not know geographical borders and can affect multiple countries simultaneously, it is important for neighboring countries to work together and learn from one another. An example of this is a collaboration that is being undertaken in the Northwest Indian Ocean to better understand and prepare for tsunami events from the Makran subduction zone. If we consider a worst-case event for Makran, tsunami waves could reach adjoining shores within a few tens of minutes with wave heights of a few meters. Such fast-arriving waves add to the challenges of tsunami warning systems and awareness programs. With support from the SCAP Trust Fund, IOC continues to facilitate strengthening tsunami early warning in the Northwest Indian Ocean region through regional cooperation. Distinguished colleagues, the protection of at-risk coastal communities is a global responsibility. Saving lives and protecting the livelihoods of communities at risk from tsunamis requires sustained investment in capacity building, education, early warning systems, and resilient infrastructure. On the occasion of the 5th World Tsunami Awareness Day, IOC encourages countries and communities to have national and local disaster risk reduction strategies for tsunami and other coastal hazards. In particular, the establishment of national and local plans and policies are crucial for community tsunami resilience. Thank you for your attention and support.
Of the Regional Integrated Multi-Hazard Early Warning System for Africa and Asia to deliver his remarks.
Madam Chairman, Chairperson, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be in this meeting. Thank you very much for inviting us to have some thoughts on this Tsunami Awareness Day. So you are all aware that through the contribution of Royal Thai Government, Tsunami Trust Fund administered by UNSCAP, RIMES has been established since 2009. And this is a kind of a regional mechanism to provide tsunami integrated and also all other hazards for all the countries in Indian Ocean region, Southeast Asia, and also Pacific region. So this Government of India, through Ministry of Earth Sciences, serves as a RIMES Council Chair, and Maldives as a Secretariat for RIMES. The RIMES is linked to Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services, called INCOIS, to take the services level 1 and 2 from INCOIS and provide service level 3 to all service level 3 support to all the Indian Ocean countries and also Southeast Asian low capacity countries. And we are now trying to establish a multi-hazard early warning center in PNG, a kind of 24/7 kind of capacity, be a sub-hub for RIMES, sub-hub for the Pacific region. So through that sub-hub and RIMES, the PNG process, and it will be soon functional. So we have, through SCAP Trust Fund, over a period of time, we have established a kind of mechanism to provide decision support tools to translate the potential tsunami risk at the very local level. We call it INSPIRE system. And along with that, we also have another decision support tools for providing support to the emergency managers to evacuate, to plan emergency operations, logistics support to the emergency operations. These two mechanisms has been supported by UN Trust Fund, and that process is now going very well to make communities aware, and also we periodically conduct drills to ensure that communities are very aware of this particular risk and also other coastal hazards. And we, with Ministry of Earth Science in KAIS, we also support, we also integrated the ocean state forecast system within the INCAIS framework. That information from the INCAIS, we are able to translate and communicate this information to the communities at all times, regardless of occurrence of tsunami. So we are 24/7 operational, linked to all the countries, and this tsunami 24/7 operation provides a ready support to all the countries in the region. So we continuously improve, refine, and provide support as and when emerging risks comes like a pandemic, COVID-19, etc. We welcome Madam Chairman to visit RHIMES tomorrow, and we will show you the kind of the facilities we have 24/7 to see for yourself that how ESCAP's contribution and Government of India's contribution and all helped the whole system so well, and how it is being maintained from a start of 3 founder members of RHIMES establishment initially. Now there are about 22 member states and 26 collaborating countries. So 48 countries, both tsunami affected and also other hazards affected, are being benefited. We have established a national climate application center in Sri Lanka to provide support to all the countries on climate risk along with coastal risk countries. We also established a Bangladesh National Climate Application Center in Bangladesh to provide flood-related hazards and other issues. And we are going to establish similar centers in all the participating countries, so that each country will provide one thematic support to all the systems. This, because of all hazards embedded within multi-hazard framework, tsunami risk is constantly monitored, evaluated, and provide support. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you so much.
I thank Mrs. Subaya for his remarks. I now invite Her Excellency Ms. Suchitra Durai, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary and Permanent Representative of India to ASCAP, to deliver her remarks.
Thank you. Executive Secretary of UNESCAP, Ibu Armida Alice Jabana, Deputy Perm Sec of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Royal Thai Government, Ambassador Gonzak, Excellencies, distinguished representatives, good afternoon. In 2015, the UN General Assembly designated the 5th of November as the World Tsunami Awareness Day and called upon member states, international organizations, and civil society institutions to raise tsunami awareness and share innovative approaches with a view to reduce risk and minimize losses. In line with this objective, the UN plays a very important role in facilitating the observance of the World Tsunami Awareness Day. I commend UNESCAP for also setting up a multi-donor trust fund for tsunami disasters and climate preparedness, and to the fund itself for having established the regional integrated multi-hazard early warning system, or RHIMES. The New Delhi Declaration on Disaster Risk Reduction in Asia and the Pacific, which was endorsed by heads of government, ministers, and heads of delegations from countries in the Asia and the Pacific on 5th November 2016, as an outcome of the first Asian Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction following the adoption of the Sendai framework, called upon all stakeholders inter alia to use the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction and World Tsunami Awareness Day to raise awareness, promote a better understanding of risks, and develop tools to address them. As we commemorate the World Tsunami Awareness Day, we also remember the tsunami itself of 2004 and the ferocity with which it hit several countries in a matter of hours, from Asia to Africa, on that fateful day of 26 December 2004. In fact, in India itself, much of its eastern coast, including my own hometown, Chennai, and parts of the western coast of India and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands bore the brunt of the tsunami. Tens of thousands of people lost their lives and many their homes and livelihoods. Appreciating the gravity of the situation in the affected countries, the global community lost no time in reaching the affected quickly with relief material and other support. But as we have heard from previous speakers, the tsunamis continue to hit countries in the region. Particularly the Pacific Rim countries are affected frequently. And I believe that 900 tsunamis occurred in the 20th century due to the high seismic activity in the Pacific belt. This is a challenging fact that the countries of this region continue to live with. While mounting a massive relief and rehabilitation effort in our own country post the December 2004 tsunami, India was also in the forefront of those who also extended assistance to other countries in the region which suffered. As per our estimates, 50% of the world's population will be living in coastal areas by 2030 and will be exposed to the perils of storms, floods, and tsunamis. The realities and the bitter experiences of the past calls upon us to plan and implement multi-level policies to deal with the adverse effect of tsunamis and reduce the risks posed to the populations residing in these areas. Thus, a state-of-the-art tsunami warning system was set up in October 2007 in India. In the past years, many earthquakes larger than a magnitude of 7 on the Richter scale, which caused the tsunami, have occurred. In all such cases, necessary advisories were provided by the warning system in India to all concerned within minutes of the occurrences of the earthquake. The system is recognized as the Regional Tsunami Service Provider, or the RTSP, for the Indian Ocean region that provides services to the countries in the Indian Ocean. Further, in September 2019, Prime Minister Modi launched the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, or the CDRI, at the UN General Assembly. The CDRI aims to promote the resilience of new and existing infrastructure systems to climate and disaster risks, thereby ensuring sustainable development. While it is open, of course, to all countries, we are very happy that several countries in the Asia-Pacific region, including Sri Lanka, Maldives, Indonesia, Japan, and Fiji, are members of this coalition, and I call upon all others to also join this important initiative. I'm confident that India's expertise and experience in these areas can contribute to the region and the world as a whole, and we look forward to collaborating and cooperating with all member states of UNESCAP to fight the challenges of tsunamis and related disasters. Thank you.
I thank Her Excellency Mr. Roy for her remarks. I now invite Mr. Hiroshi Kawamura, Minister and Deputy Chief of Mission and Permanent Representative of Japan to ASCAP, to deliver his remarks.
Ms. Armida Aishabana, Executive Secretary of UNESCAP, Mr. Chutinton Gonsak, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Government of Japan, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on today's occasion of World Tsunami Awareness Day. Asia Pacific is a disaster-prone region, and Japan is one of those most affected countries. Disasters occur every year, such as earthquakes, heavy landslides, and floods due to record rainfall, and most notably, the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami. Today, I'd like to point out a couple of important concepts gained from these experiences and introduce Japan's efforts in the field of disaster risk reduction. The first point is that disasters affect people in various ways due to differences in the types and levels of vulnerability and exposure. Women, children, elderly, and persons with disabilities have been disproportionately affected by disasters, and therefore require particular attention. The concept of the SDGs, no one will be left behind, should be reflected in all disaster risk reduction policies, strategies, plans, and actions. The second point is the mainstreaming of DRR. One of the main targets of the Sendai framework, target E, is to substantially increase the number of countries with national and local DRR strategies by 2020. It is important to promote the mainstreaming of DRR by incorporating such aspects into all development policies and programs. The government of Japan, in this regard, will continue to work with UNDRR, among others, to help support countries in the region. Let me introduce 4 Japan's recent efforts in the field of DRR. First, Japan played a very important and leading role in proposing and promoting World Tsunami Awareness Day, which was unanimously decided by the UNGA in December 2015. Since then, Japan hosted 4 times the World Tsunami Awareness Day High School Student Summit, with participation from about 50 countries. I hope that they will play important roles as leaders in the area of DRR in their respective countries in the future. Furthermore, Japan provided financial support to SCAP's Tsunami Trust Fund in 2015 and supported an SCAP's program to enhance Pacific Island countries' capacities to utilize space and geographic information for DRR. Another initiative taken by Japan is Sendai Cooperation Initiative for DRR, Phase 2 from 2019 to 2022. This initiative has been implemented as a continuation of the Phase 1 that started in 2015. Japan helps strengthen resilience, for example, by building embankment, diversion, and drainage channels to prevent flood, which would benefit at least approximately 5 million people. This initiative also provides training opportunities for 48,000 government officials and local leaders, as well as 37,000 children who will lead future generations. Furthermore, Japan supports the development and update of DRR plans in 80 countries to help achieve the targets and goals of the Sendai DRR framework. As the chair of G20 Osaka Summit 2019, Japan documented the urgent needs to ensure long-term adaptability and building resilience of infrastructure against natural disasters and slow onset of environmental changes in G20 principles for quality infrastructure investment and supports related initiatives by multilateral development banks. Lastly, in Japan, people of all ages, from small children to the elderly, continue to prepare for disaster risks and conduct evacuation drills. These measures would also be beneficial for other countries at risk of large-scale disasters. From this point of view, Japan, in cooperation with the UNDP, has been providing assistance in the implementation of tsunami evacuation drills at local schools in 18 countries in the Asia-Pacific region since 2017. Let me conclude my remarks by emphasizing Japan's continued commitment in the area of the RR, and we will continue to work cooperatively with countries in the region and relevant UN entities. I thank you very much.
I thank Mr. Kawamura for his remarks. I now invite Mr. Chutintorn Kongsak, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, to deliver his remarks.
Madam Executive Secretary, Excellencies, distinguished participants, good afternoon. It is my pleasure, after several years away, to be back at the UN Conference Center for today's 21st meeting of the Advisory Council of the ESCAP Multi-Donor Trust Fund for Tsunami, Disaster and Climate Preparedness, and to deliver these remarks on behalf of the Royal Thai Government in commemoration of the World Tsunami Awareness Day. But before I do my official duty, I just wanted to make some personal anecdotes. When the Great Indian Ocean tsunami happened, before that, I had never heard or been aware of tsunami before. After it happened, of course, you can do your research and you knew it was there all along, but we were not prepared. At that time, I was charged with finding volunteers to go down to Phuket, to help coordinate with the diplomatic community. I was surprised to find that some people said no. Maybe they were afraid, they didn't know. The other point is that, our ambassador designate to Washington, he went down with me, and his job, not an easy job, was to help relatives and embassy officials identify, dead bodies. So that was our experience, and the tsunami has never left us. But before that, we didn't know. So our job that we're doing today is the legacy of that terrible disaster that happened. Though nearly 16 years have passed since the Indian Ocean tsunami devastated Thailand, Indonesia, and the region on Boxing Day in 2004, its horror remains in the memories of all of us. The earthquakes and subsequent tsunamis in Japan in 2011 and Mexico in 2017 are more recent frightening reminders of why effective early warning and preparedness for tsunamis and other natural disasters are very crucial. Natural disasters, such as the recent Typhoon Goni, which struck the Philippines, and the strong earthquake that hit Izmir in Turkey, continue to threaten communities and hard-earned development gains. We cannot take lightly the findings of this year's Sustainable Development Goals Progress Report for Asia and the Pacific, which shows that at the current trajectory, our region remains unlikely to meet any of the 17 goals by 2030. Progress on the strengthening of resilience and adaptive capacity to climate-related hazards and natural disasters have been notably slow. This negative trend is further exacerbated by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Urgent action is needed to reverse this trend. Thailand stresses the need for countries to mainstream the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction in their development policies, which is in line with the focus of this year's World Tsunami Awareness Day, to promote Target E of the Sendai framework on sustainability, substantially increasing the number of countries with national and local disaster risk reduction strategies by 2020. On this front, Thailand has been mainstreaming disaster risk reduction into our laws and policies at all levels, in accordance with the 2007 Disaster Prevention and Mitigation Act. We are also in the later stages of revising our National Disaster Risk Management Plan for the next 5 years. However, these laws, policies, and plans need to be put into action, and we cannot do it alone. Madam Executive Secretary, Excellencies, distinguished participants, disasters respect no boundaries, and therefore reducing disaster risk is a shared responsibility. Back in 2005, when Thailand decided to establish the trust fund with our $10 million contribution, we envisioned a vehicle that would bring the region together in saving lives and making sure that no country or community is left unprepared when the next deadly waves strike. Since then, many countries, and very recently Switzerland, have joined in and contributed to the trust fund. We wish to thank these countries for their support and to thank SCAP for managing the trust fund. Over the years, more than 20 countries, especially the high-risk and low-capacity countries, have benefited from the 29 projects which the trust fund has supported. However, we cannot be complacent and must build on these achievements, especially as the frequency, intensity, shifting geography of extreme climatic events increases complexity and uncertainty of our region. Investing in a disaster resilience and preparedness remains at the top of Thailand's agenda. We are pleased to announce that we have decided to make another contribution of $30,000 to the trust fund. Thailand wishes to encourage other countries to also lend support to the trust fund, which needs replenishing, so it can continue its good work. We also wish to see new actors, including the private sector and foundations, engaging in and contributing to the work of the trust fund, either in cash or in kind. Together, we can find innovative means to sustain funding and mobilize resources for the fund. This is our shared responsibility. Thailand will continue to work closely with members of the Advisory Council, SCAP, and other countries, as well as future partners, to continue to strengthen the trust fund for the mutual benefit of our peoples, communities, and beyond. As for me, after this, I'll go onto Twitter and say to the Thai people not to let their guard down. Thank you very much.
I thank Mr. Gugsak for his remarks. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as we just heard, the government of Thailand has recently made an additional contribution of $30,000 to the trust fund. I would now like to invite the representative of Thailand to join us at the rostrum for the handover of